Yo, what's up everyone? So today we're going to be talking about the Amazing Spider-Man number 13 that came out this week. This one basically explains why things feel off the past two issues with, the Hobgoblin, there being two of them, how confusing it is. This one does explain why that is. But just as a spoiler warning before I just go ahead and start talking about the comic, if you haven't read it yet and want to do so before you hear me just outright spoil and give my opinion on it, probably do so. Otherwise, without further ado, let's begin. So the story starts off with a nurse running into Norman Osborn's hospital room. He's desperately trying to get their attention to try to call the authorities, call the cops, because he's watching a live stream of Peter Parker getting his ass beat by two Hobgoblins. As a villain, the Hobgoblin is, I would say, a pretty big handful for sure. So having there be two of them, yeah, he's really getting the stuffing beat out of him. Spider-Man eventually falls off a building only to get caught by Bug, which is his spider glider. I've just been calling it the spider glider because Bug just feels weird. I'm gonna try calling it Bug, see what happens. And he just flies off trying to run away from them. Norman is desperately trying to get into communication with Spider-Man as this fight's happening, but Spider-Man's helmet gets damaged, so there is no comms whatsoever. He basically feels powerless in his hospital room. How can he possibly help? He looks at the monitor on his computer screen and sees he has the design for his, Gold Goblin suit that he's creating. And at this point, he's considering using that suit to go help Spider-Man. And this is basically a very telling moment. This entire Spider-Man run feels more like it should be Norman Osborn's run. He's the one who's actually, who I feel like he's actually getting character development. Like Peter Parker, Spider-Man, so far he's just been an asshole kind of. And every time he gets into a fight, he's basically 1 inch close to death, which happens very frequently. But anyways, yeah, he's just considering using the Gold Goblin glider and the suit to go save Spider-Man. Both of the Hobgoblins eventually do gain up on Spider-Man. They electrocute his helmet, so that's broken off. You can see his face. And one of the Hobgoblins is about to ram his glider into Spider-Man's skull when all of a sudden the Gold Goblin shows up, Norman Osborn, and he just rams into both of them, saving Spider-Man from this. So now we have the Gold Goblin beating the shit out of these two Hobgoblins. There's a lot of goblin stuff going on here. But wait, there's another goblin that's gonna be added onto the mix. But anyways, with the help of the Gold Goblin, Spider-Man survives, and they both live to tell the tale. Osborn has his men tell the police that he doesn't want to talk to him at that moment. And then he walks up to a van that has looks like a team of people that are just helping him out, and he asks his assistant about the laptop, and she brings up the fact that, yeah, I didn't send anyone to give you that laptop. So it looks like there's a mysterious force behind him working on the suit, enticing him to use it to go save Spider-Man. So at this point, he's suspicious. And then we cut over to Peter Parker's life. He's going over to Betty Brant's house, making sure that she's alright, that she's comforted in a situation where she knows Ned Leeds is probably gonna go to prison. So now he's in a situation where yeah, dude, they're just gonna put him behind bars. This is pretty iffy. And after that, we cut over to a mysterious location where we have Roderick Kingsley talking to his goons. He tells them that he wants to be alone. And this is where it gets revealed that Roderick Kingsley is also being mind controlled himself using the device. And who's behind the mind controlling? It's the Queen Goblin. So as far as I know, the Queen Goblin is a character that got introduced, I think the first appearance was in the previous Spider-Man comic run. So this is her coming back for revenge, I'm assuming. But anyways, and that actually explains why the previous two issues actually felt kind of weird, because the entire time she was basically manipulating every single character in the story. So to me it felt like, oh, they're just forcing these characters through this scenario, but in reality it's the Queen Goblin manipulating all the characters to do dumb shit. It's the best way I can describe it. But her goal, just by insinuating, is to somehow convert Norman Osborn to be the Green Goblin again, you know, to be evil. But of course, her motivation for that hasn't been explained. I'm sure they're gonna bring that up at some point. But yeah, now the Queen Goblin is a key player in the Spider-Man story right now. And that's basically how that story ends. I personally feel like it averagely delivered in a way where it wasn't bad, but it was still decent. I was really looking forward to this issue because like I said, the previous two issues I've just been like, why the hell is everyone freaking stupid? But of course it just gets explained that the Queen Goblin's behind everything, but her motivations haven't been explained, so we'll see what that's about. Also, after reading this issue, like I said, this entire Spider-Man comic run feels like it's really all about Norman Osborn, and Spider-Man, Peter Parker, he's basically just a side character reacting to whatever is happening around Norman Osborn's life. But of course, it is centered around Peter Parker, it's just that he gets no development, whereas Norman Osborn just, you know, he actually feels like a character. Like at some point he's gonna get pushed over the edge, as much as he's been trying not to get on a glider, not to turn into the Green Goblin, but now there's, you know, this force that's inclining him to get back on a glider to possibly just get him to turn evil. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, yeah, thanks for listening to me talk about this week's Amazing Spider-Man number 13. If you enjoyed listening to me talk about more nerdy comics and you want to hear more, just like and subscribe and let me know. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.